incentives and grants which are being offered to the uh, offered as assistance. And then we are going to also see micro, small, and medium enterprises. Together, they are called as MSME, micro, small, and medium enterprises. Then, what are ancillary units and the export-oriented units? Then, the advantages and disadvantages of such units. What problems these units face? What assistance these units get? And then we are starting. Then we'll see the next slide as SSI, small sector, small enterprises, small scale enterprises. So incentives, various incentives, subsidies, and grants. So this is roughly what we are going to see. So incentives, the word meaning of this word incentive is basically it is a kind of stimuli to act. Now you have to get your work done. So I have to be lucrative enough so that people can work for me. So if I have to make these organizations, these small industries work, I need to give them some kind of stimulus so that they can act. So it is like I'm giving you an assistance, you come one step forward and together we'll start with the journey. So like that. So these industries are given this help in these four forms. And this is collectively we call as incentives. So how, what is an incentive? As I said, it's a it means stimulus for action. You have to uh, tell somebody that if you do these things, uh, you know, I'll help you out if you do these things. So it is like stimulus for the action. The stimuli motivates entrepreneurs to start and run small scale units. So this stimuli is actually uh, pinching these entrepreneurs, these small entrepreneurs, to start and run the small scale unit. So government offers various incentives to entrepreneurs to set up small scale units and run them effectively and efficiently. So government here is playing the role of providing the incentives or the various concessions to the entrepreneurs so that these people, the entrepreneurs, can set up the small scale units and they can run efficiently. So what is the objective behind these incentives? Offering incentives, what is the objective behind? To encourage the entrepreneurs to take up industrial ventures. Yes, because we want more and more people who have the capability to start something of their own. We want such people to come forward because as we have seen, in turn, these people, these entrepreneurs provide the employment opportunities, and in this way we can achieve economic growth. So we want to encourage entrepreneurs so that they can take up these ventures, the industrial ventures, also to ensure the competitive strength of the unit. Competitive strength of the unit, meaning if I have more and more people, if I have more and more entrepreneurs who are joining, so this increases the competitive spirit and we as consumers are benefited out of it. When there is more competition, then more people are striving to have more and more market share. More people are, more manufacturers or more entrepreneurs are working towards achieving greater market share. So to achieve that greater market share, they provide many lucrative, we can say, things in turn to the consumers so that they can be their customers. So we as a customer get benefit out of it. And collectively, this as an industry, the competitive strength of it is increased. Now, to ensure this, I need to have more people. So how I can have more and more people joining the industry? If I support them, if I assist them. So this is one objective which I achieve out of providing incentives. And in this way, balanced regional development can also be achieved. So it's not like only one state is progressing and other states are, just sitting idle. I don't want this to happen. So what do? I promote the industries in those less developed states or less developed areas by way of uh, concessions or by way of providing some kind of assistance. So more and more people from these areas also come forward, avail the offers, avail the advantages or benefits, and they also start. And in this way, I can have balanced regional development. So collectively, to achieve all these things, I need to have some assistance or some incentives offered to the entrepreneurs. So those incentives can be in form of subsidy, tax concessions, assistance, and technical assistance. Now, when I say assistance, it is actually assistance may cover financial assistance, export assistance, and technical assistance, because it has got to do with the major source of our investment, capital investment जिसमें होता है, that is like plant and machinery. So special assistance in the name technical assistance is provided here. Okay, so let us study these incentives one by one. First is subsidy. Now, see, these portions are, these incentives and subsidies, they are just discussing the incentives which are offered by state government as well as central government. So more or less, these incentives which are offered by state government may be little bit difference in terms of nomenclature, but then overall outline of the incentive remains the same. All right. And here what we have to study, we just have to remember the numbers. When I say subsidy, it's like like 15% investment subsidy is given at the rate 15% of fixed assets subject to ceiling of 15 lakh. So these, as I said earlier also, this particular unit always talks about the numbers which we have to remember as it is. So there is no other way than to by heart few of the things in this particular unit. So just listen carefully, because there is nothing much to teach as such. These are the things, these are the government, we can say, declared amounts or figures which we have to, as I said, we have to by heart, we have to remember them. All right. So let us begin with subsidy. What do we mean by subsidy? Subsidy is a government payment or grant to a private enterprise or institution for the good of public. Now it's a government payment. You get subsidy, meaning you get some kind of payment from government, or it's a grant. Some amount is allotted to you, to private enterprises or institutions for the good of the public. So for the betterment of the public, if you are dealing with manufacturing, or you are in production of something, so that you are doing for the consumers like you and me. So to promote this, to assist this particular initiative, you get some kind of payment or grant from the government. So private enterprises are getting this. In India, subsidy is offered by government to attract industries to backward regions, to develop certain specific category of industries, and also to give employment to women workers. So in India, when we talk about subsidy, the motive or objective behind subsidy is to achieve three things. First is to attract industries to backward region. As I said, few states or few regions, they develop because they are maybe rich in terms of infrastructure, or they are having better infrastructure, they have better people, availability of manpower and resources. So because of these reasons, some regions are developing. But then most of the region, or let's say the remaining part of the country or state or that particular region, is like unattended, or we can say it is like neglected. So what is happening, the people who are staying there, they are unemployed, they don't have any work to do. And other things also get affected. The region doesn't get developed, so you don't have good schools, you don't have good infrastructure. So basically this is because of negligence. Now we want overall development. So subsidy, when government of India is offering subsidy, it has this thing in mind that there should be balanced regional development. So this is one objective of offering subsidy. Then to develop certain specific category of industries, like uh, you know we see that in India it is only the cricket which gets the maximum appreciation and maximum viewership. There are other sports also which are like kind of neglected, or which are like less paid attention towards. So like these sports, even there are some industries who are getting maximum preference by the entrepreneurs, whereas there are some industries who are lacking the people to begin with. For example, let's say the industries which are run by artisan, or let's say the village people who are expert in some tradition, traditional arts and such things are there. So these people, they are, because of not having enough funds with them, probably over a period of time, they shut the organization, they shut their enterprise, or they find, they start working for somebody like that. These things are happening. So to uh, discontinue this practice, what is happening, government is giving some kind of assistance to such industries. Third objective, to give employment to women workers. Even the government of India is, that is why, is in favor of offering subsidy, because they want to give the employment opportunities to this section of the society, women of the women workers as well. So out of these three objectives in mind, the subsidies are offered. Now, for some of the subsidies which are being offered by the state governments, we'll see now. Uh, First is most backward area capital subsidy. This investment subsidy is given to all the new industrial units set up in the backward blocks, backward areas, and जो MIDC areas होते हैं, महाराष्ट्र इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन, जो MIDC के areas होते हैं, now they have got blocks. So as per the industry, the bifurcation of blocks is done. So suppose chemical industries are in particular block, uh, paint industries are in particular block. So vast area is under these MIDCs. Now out of this vast area, there are some blocks who are quite remote in nature. Now to have industries set up in those remote blocks, these subsidies are offered. Most backward area capital subsidy. So subsidy is given at 20% of fixed assets subject to maximum of 20 lakhs. So how the subsidy is offered? Whatever fixed amounts or fixed assets you have, out of 20% the value of those fixed assets, thus you are being given the subsidy, which can be maximum of 20 lakhs. So up to 20 lakh can be we can get from the state government, as we if we are starting our entrepreneurial venture in most backward area of the industrial unit. So this can be 20% of fixed assets up, or up to 20 lakhs. Are you understanding? This is how the subsidies and incentives are calculated. Now, second subsidy is backward area capital subsidy. Earlier was most backward, now it is backward area. Now, this investment subsidy is given at the rate of 15% of fixed assets subject to ceiling of 15 lakh. पहले के इसमें था 20% of fixed assets, maximum of 20 lakhs. Now, this backward area subsidy is 15% of fixed assets subject to ceiling of 15 lakhs. For the new industries set up in the backward blocks in all the industrial estates. Special capital subsidy. An investment subsidy of 20% of fixed assets subject to 20 lakhs is granted for the following industries like electronics and leather. If the industry belongs, if the venture belongs to these two categories, electronics manufacturing or leather manufacturing, then investment subsidy of 20% of fixed assets subject to maximum of 20 lakhs is being offered. Then we have additional subsidy for employment of women workers. If you are employing women workers, then you are getting some subsidy. So how it is? New industrial units which employ more than 50% of the women in workforce are eligible for an additional subsidy of 5% up to the ceiling of 5 lakh. So basically you are straight away, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? This subsidy का मतलब होता है if you out of 10 employees or out of 10 workers which you are having to run the manufacturing unit, if you employ 5 or more than 5, so it becomes 50%. So when you show that, see, in our organization, in our manufacturing plant, we have 7 women workers and only 3 male workers who are running the business. So you get additional 5%, up to 5%, or maximum of 5 lakh as subsidy, or let's say as uh, benefit from the state government. So which is a big amount, up to 5 lakh or 5%. Then you have generator subsidy. Generator, in order to encourage units to have reliable power supply. Now we know that many parts, in India, many parts, many regions face electricity or power cut, power shutdown. So we have timetables when you have this electricity goes off, or we have some dedicated days, maybe Thursday or Friday, like that. So we know that during this time there won't be supply of electricity. So industries cannot give this reason that since electricity was not there, so we could not complete our manufacturing. So they need to have backup, some kind of backup. So this generator backup, so usme bhi the state government is giving some subsidy. So subsidy for installation of new generators for captive use to the extent of 15% of the cost up to maximum of 5 lakhs is given to small scale units. So small scale units are also getting subsidy for installing generators, 15% of the cost or up to maximum of 5 lakhs. Then you have subsidy for certain categories of industries. The comparative statement of state capital subsidy and subsidy provided by various state government agencies are given below. Uh, so you have special categories of industries like leather industry, or the Khadi and village, the KVICs. So you get some special subsidies from state as well as central government. Subsidy for modernization and quality improvement. If you want to modernize your plant, or if you want to go for some improvement in terms of quality, then you need to have something, some, maybe some extra machines or some modern machines or modern technology. So to implement this modernization at your plant, manufacturing plant, even subsidies are provided. So capital subsidy of 12% for investment in modernization and upgradation of technology in selected sectors is provided by central government. So up to 12% of the 12% for investments in upgradation and modernization of technology is provided. And to encourage this TQM approach, total quality management approach, to implement, to uh, encourage, 75,000 is granted for each unit, and it will continue till end of 10th 5-year plan. So there is a provision for TQM also, and that provision is up to 75,000. If you want to implement this philosophy of TQM across your manufacturing plant, you can avail for the subsidy, which is 75,000. So these are some of the subsidies we can say. Uh, One more is there, exemption from stamp duty. Exempting from paying stamp duty is given for plots acquired in growth centers located at uh, the less developed places. So you get some kind of exemption when you have to pay stamp duty. Now that exemption depends and it varies from state to state, but then definitely uh, there is some kind of exemption which is provided. Um, Now, in case of, as I said, it varies from state to state. Example which I have is of Tamil Nadu, which is 15% subject to 15 lakhs is granted to investments in plant and machinery. So this kind of subsidies are provided. Now, after subsidy, we are having tax concessions. Various tax concessions are given to small scale units, and uh, here are the concessions. We'll discuss now the concessions. First, an important concession is tax holiday. Tax holiday. The new industrial units are exempted from payment of income tax under Section 80J of income tax on their profits up to 6% per annum on their capital employed. Now, this exemption is allowed for the period of 5 years from commencement. Now obviously this tax concession, you cannot uh, go on giving concessions for your lifetime. So for the beginners and the industries who have commenced their operations, so up to 5 years of the date of commencement, this concession is offered. The tax holiday is offered. So under these schemes, the new industrial units are exempted from the payment of income tax. So you don't have to pay income tax under Section 80J. You get the exemption under this heading, uh, and on their profits up to 6% per annum on their capital employed. So, but this is up to 5 years only. So after 5 years, so you are no longer a new entrant. You are now an established one. So after that, as per the uh, calculations, you have to pay taxes. Then comes depreciation. Under Section 32 of Income Tax Act, small scale unit is entitled to deduction on depreciation account on building, furniture and plant and machinery. This depreciation is allowed subject to maximum of 20 lakhs. Then comes investment allowance. Investment allowance is allowed at the rate of 25% of cost of acquiring new plant or machinery installed under Section 31 of Act. So when you are installing some new machines or new plants, so you are getting some kind of uh, investment allowance is allowed at the rate of 25% of cost of acquisition. So you are allowed to have some investment allowance, and that is at the rate 25%, and you get this under Section 31 of Income Tax Act. The preliminary expenses which are incurred, which so when you are setting up your unit, you are incurring some expenses, beginning with. And these expenses, if these expenses are in relation with preparation of feasibility report. Now, this feasibility report is something which you have to submit in bank if you are applying for loan. So based on that feasibility report, your loan is being sanctioned. So when you are incurring expenses in terms of preparing this feasibility report, the engineering expenses and legal charges for drafting agreement. So all these expenses, the preliminary expenses which you are incurring for setting up the new unit, industrial unit, or if you are expanding your existing unit, then you are allowed to be written off under 35D, Section 35D of Income Tax Act. The amount of expenditure allowed is 2.5% of total cost of project and 20% in case the unit is set up in backward areas. So you are also enjoying some expenses which are being written off. Then comes tax concessions for small scale industries in rural areas. The small scale units set up in rural areas are entitled to deduction of 20% of the profits and gains from their total income. So if you are setting up a unit in rural area, you are entitled to the deduction of 25% of profit and gains from the total income. So just because your unit is in rural area, whatever profit and gain you show, out of that 20% deduction is considered, and on that remaining part only you are being you are expected to do your calculations and pay your income tax, is what this point or this concession says. Then comes rehabilitation allowance. If the business unit which have been discounted on account, which has been discontinued on account of such some natural calamities like flood or cyclone or earthquake. Now, because of these calamities, if the business unit is discontinued, is now not in operation because of such things, or any other natural calamity or accidental fire or explosions, then such units are granted rehabilitation allowance under section 33B of Income Tax Act, and this allowance is allowed equivalent to 60% of amount of deduction allowable to the unit. So they are getting this 60% of uh, allowance, we can say, and then the rest of the calculations are done. And this allowance is to be used for the business purposes within the 3 years of units re-establishment or revival. So the uh, allowance is being given to you, and then you have got some window period also. So within that you are expected to again start with the operations. Then comes expenditure on acquisition of patents and copyright. Under section 35A of income tax, any expenditure on capital nature incurred in acquiring patent or copyright by small scale industry is deductible from its income. So if the small industry is applying for a patent, or it is applying for copyright, then you are getting some benefit, or we can say some deduction under section 35A of income tax. And then last is exemption of excise duty. Exemption of excise duty limit is raised from 50 lakhs to 1 crore to improve the competitiveness of small scale sector. So to make them more and more competitive, the exemption in terms of excise duty limit has been raised from 50 lakhs to 1 crore. Now, after these tax concessions come assistance. Assistance is help. Now, help is in provided in various forms. So, assistance in terms of marketing, export assistance, and then technical assistance. Also, the tax concessions is what we are going to now see under assistance. Marketing assistance. See, now marketing is a major problem for these small scale units because they are small scale. They don't have the expertise. They don't have even the budget for it. So they are lacking in these two areas, and that is why the even though the products are good, but then because of lack of proper marketing of the products, they are not reaching the target audience as well as the desired marketplace. That is why the assistance is given. Now this assistance is in, as I said, marketing form. So assistance for marketing. So how this assistance is provided? Government stores purchase program. Now the government is the single largest buyer of variety of goods. With now we know that um, ये जो these state governments have a network of these APMCs, Agricultural Market Produce Committee. So through these APMCs, the government buys rice, pulses, cotton, and such commodities, and then they fix up the prices and they store at their godowns. The government के जो godowns होते हैं, they store there, and even government exports such products to the needy countries. So government stores purchase program. इसमें क्या होता है? So the government is the single largest buyer of variety of goods with a view to increasing the share of products from small scale sector. Now, government wants to promote these small scale sector as well. So government, with a view to increasing the share of products from small scale sector, government stores program was launched, and under this program the Director General of Supplies and Disposal arranged the purchase and sale of stores required by the Government of India and state government, public sector, and the other government bodies. So through these stores, such buying and selling of variety of goods which are being manufactured by small scale sector. Intention is to promote the small scale sector. So such government stores, they are basically very much instrumental in buying goods and products from such small scale units. So they buy and they are selling also the same. So one such assistance uh, by way of constructing government stores purchase, the assistance is given. Then comes subcontracting exchange. Subcontracting exchange, uh, there is an organization called as Small Industries Development Organization, SIDO, SIDO. Now this organization has established 16 subcontracting exchanges in all the major states of the country. Now, exchanges invite small scale units to register their capacity with them and approach large scale units for seeking orders for the registered units. Thus, the exchange provide linkage between the small and large scale units and to help market the products of small scale units. Now, it happens that sometimes these large units, they buy products from the small units. Now, products could be anything, any product can be bought by these large units. So these exchanges, the CEDO has established such subcontracting exchanges, which is mostly present across all the states of our country. So these exchanges invite the small scale units to register their spare capacity, the spare produce, how much they have. They are supposed to register this information with these subcontracting exchanges, and the subcontracting exchange, as a body, they contact the large scale operators or large scale units for the orders. So if at all they have any order, that order can be placed with the small scale units. Small scale unit fulfills that order, uh, ships that order, or that order reaches these exchange, the subcontracting exchanges, and the subcontracting exchange in turn supplies it to the large ones. So he is an intermediary here. He is playing the role of linkage between the small and the large scale units. Then we have trade centers. Trade centers, the government of India has set up trade centers to cater to the marketing needs of small scale units. The trade centers collect and disseminate information related to all the types of small scale industries in the region, giving full details about their products, capacities, and the prices. And they, in this way, they provide some, we can say, the platform for the buyers and sellers of the product. So the setting up of trade centers in different parts has considerably filled up the information and communication gap. So World Trade Center is one such example, where what happens, we in newspapers we observe that World Trade Center is organizing across the states exhibition for the handicraft and khadi and village industries. You get such traditional products, maybe the clothes or the textile manufacturers are there, the pottery makers are there, such people who deal with art and craft mela, is one such thing. So the people across these states, they come under one roof, and here the buying and selling take place. So such trade centers in this way assist, by way of making this platform available to the small scale industries. So buyers and sellers, they gather under one roof, and the marketing and exchange take place. Then comes internal marketing. See, we are understanding now the assistance here. So we are not discussing here of any tax benefits or maybe the concessions, but then such institutions run by either the state or the central government, they are providing help, they are providing assistance. So how they are providing assistance? We are understanding the assistance of marketing. products are manufactured, but then they are not reaching the final consumers. So this marketing assistance, how can be provided by the government? So we are understanding these types of assistance. So by way of creating trade centers, or by way of creating subcontracting exchanges, or by having government purchase stores, the assistance can be provided. The next kind of assistance is internal marketing. National Small Industries Corporation, NSIC, has undertaken the marketing of certain products like handmade papers or hosiery items, or starch or tapioca, such uh, products. Marketing has been undertaken by NSIC. The and such products जो अभी हमने list देखी, like handmade papers and hosiery items, are being given assistance of selling by these small industries corporation, NSIC. Then we have exhibitions and seminars. SIDO, Small Industries Development Organization. Besides encouraging entrepreneurs to participate in various programs, SIDO also organizes the exhibitions and training programs in marketing and publishing of information booklet. So one way SIDO is encouraging people to participate in such programs. On the other side, SIDO is also organizes such seminars and uh, seminars and such exhibitions, and they are also designing the training programs in marketing and publishing the information booklet. So they are एक तरफ they are telling people to participate, on the other hand they are making people available for such training or such trade programs. So by way of uh, publishing the information booklet, by way of so they are basically telling how to participate and telling also to participate in such programs. Then comes integrated marketing support. Integrated marketing support meaning not only uh, one angle of marketing is being supported, but then you are integrating the marketing, meaning maybe you are uh, uh, working on the communication part, you are working on the media part. So you are combining all the angles of reaching your customers, and jointly the support is being provided. NSIC, National Small Industries Corporation, has been operating all integrated marketing support, in which bills relating to supplies made by SSIs are eligible for discount by NSIT up to a certain limit. This scheme has been introduced with the view to mitigate the problems of delayed payments by buyers against the suppliers made by SSI. So some kind of discount which is being given by NSIC up to a particular limit in relation to the supplies made by SSI. So they are getting some assistance, and they are also enjoying the SSI, small scale industries are uh, eligible for the discount. So this is about marketing assistance. Now the government is also giving export assistance. In what form it is offering export assistance? In terms of liberalized credit. An exporter may require financial assistance. Abhi, when you are exporting, so you require assistance at two places: pre-shipment and post-shipment. Pre-shipment, before you send the shipment, before you export, so that is called as pre-shipment. And after you have exported but still you require some assistance, and that is categorized as post shipment. So pre-shipment and post shipment stage. So pre-shipment may what assistance or help is required? Pre-shipment finance is required prior to shipping the prior to shipment of purchase of raw material, processing, packing, then transportation, warehousing of goods meant for export. So maybe I have an order with me. Suppose I'm a small uh, person who deals with onions and potatoes. I'm a distributor, right? Now I get a order from let's say some of the Gulf countries to export so and so metric tons of onions and potatoes there. Now I am a distributor. I deal here with the in the local market. Now when I have to export it, I need to have to do some kind of arrangements. Now I have to purchase it from the big quantity may I have to purchase. Then I have to go for special packaging because now I'm exporting. Usually what happens, the supply comes truck mein se, and they just empty it at my godown. So I have laborers who just arrange it and who keep it, and every day they just go through it, and if at all anything gets कुछ खराब बराब हो जाता है like that, so they just rectify it, they just remove it. So that is what I do sitting in ex APMC. All right, now when I have to export, I have to procure the material, I have to go for some packaging, I have to see to it that the packed goods are transported to the uh, जैसे अगर if they are being shipped through airways, then the nearest airport say, I have to find out how can I export it, how can I transport it through sea. Agar airways hai to, if I have to transport it via sea, then the nearest port I have to find, and then I have to see the arrangement. So all these things I have to look out, and these things come under pre-shipment before sending it to the before exporting it. And post shipment में क्या होता है? Now after the shipment, to bridge the time lag between the shipment and realization. Now shipment पहुंचने को, if it is going by water transportation, then it takes some days. So I ship it from here, but then the consignment reaches the destination. Somebody unloads it, somebody stores it in the warehouse. Then from that warehouse, the arrangements are done to reach to the exact exporter's place, or exact marketplace. So it takes few days time here, and that could be like 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, or maybe less than 1 month as well. But definitely realization, the payment realization takes time. So I require assistance in pre-shipment as well as post-shipment. So commercial banks here come into picture, and they provide pre-shipment and post-shipment credit at concessional rate of interest. So this comes under export assistance. Commercial banks could be these banks, maybe IDBI bank is there, or any you name the bank. जैसे any nationalized bank or a private sector bank, commercial banks, they give you this pre-shipment and post-shipment credit at concessional rate of interest. So when your money is realized here, uh, the interest, how much interest and at what rate you have taken for how the duration and all, you decide it, and accordingly the concession and payments are being made. So one such assistance, this is called as liberalized credit, export assistance we are discussing. Then comes cash incentive. When the domestic cost of production of certain goods is high in relation to the international price. International price for some products is X, whereas the domestic cost of production of such goods is high, that is X plus 1. More than the international price you have to give. So the government may grant cash compensatory support to the exporters so that they may compete effectively in the overseas market. So if I export these goods at X plus 1 amount, जो कि इंटरनेशनल अमाउंट से ज्यादा है, इंटरनेशनल प्राइस से ज्यादा है, nobody will buy my product because I am as it is selling it more than the international price. So government here may grant some tax compensatory support to the exporter. So I as an exporter, the government may grant some cash compensatory support. So that depends on what kind of industry you are into. what kind of products you are exporting, but then you get, point is, you get some incentives, the support, cash compensatory support, so that even I can compete effectively in the overseas market. Then comes a duty exemption scheme. Under this scheme, customs and excise duties are not charged on raw material, components, consumables, and spares used for production of export items. It provides benefit to indirect exports. Now, this duty exemption scheme is for those who are producing and exporting. So as it is, I'm exporting. So I get some exemption in customs and excise duty. Excise duty, when I'm exporting, I have to pay these duties. So excise duty is one of these duties. So I don't have to pay customs and excise duties on raw material, components, consumables, and spare parts which I use for the products which I'm going to export. So this provides benefit to indirect exporters. So these are some of the assistance, the export assistance, and we also have seen marketing assistance, which is being given as an incentive by various states and the central government. Then we have technical assistance. Now, what is there in technical assistance? Technical assistance is provided through industrial extension centers located in various places by SISI, Small Industries um, Organization. The industrial extension centers provide technical, economic, and managerial consultancy service to small scale industries to improve the quality of goods produced and strengthen their competitive position in the market. So what is the use of having this technical assistance? These industrial extension centers, they are providing such services like economic or managerial or technical consultancy services, so that these small scale units, these small manufacturers, they can improve on goods produced and strengthen their position in the market. As I said, I may lack these skills, the technical skills or the managerial skills, because I'm a new entrant and I fall in the small sector category. I'm a small operator. So I may not have enough funds with me who can avail these consultancy services. So from government level, these industrial extension centers are there. They provide such assistance to small scale units or small scale industries. So NSIC provides guidance on adopting modernized technology for improved method of production. Now, how this technical assistance can be provided by various organizations, state as well as central government organizations. So NSIC is one who provides guidance on adopting modernized technology. If you have to go for some modern technology and I want to seek assistance, I want to get help in this regard. So whom I can approach? I can approach NSIC, as they provide guidance on adopting the modernized technology for methods of production. Then there is this organization called SIDO, Small Industries Development Organization, SIDO. This provides consultancy and training service to strengthen competitive ability of small scale industries. So the SIDO provides, or SIDO is into consultancy and training services. If you want to compete, if these small industries want to compete in the market, now they need to be given some kind of training. Now that training could take place at any place, maybe in terms of labor or in terms of upgrading the technology, or you have already upgraded the machine or modernized the machines, but then your staff is not trained enough to run those machines. So SIDO provides such assistance, consultancy, and training services. Prime Minister has announced new packages for small scale industry sector on 30th August 2000. Now, under this scheme, they are providing various assistance, various technical assistance. जैसे capital subsidy of 12% on investments in modernization and upgradation of technology in selected sectors. Uh, for investments in modernization and upgradation of technology in selected sectors, up to 12% of subsidy on capital can be given. To encourage TQM, again, the management philosophy, the scheme of granting 75,000 to each unit and for getting ISO 9000 certification will continue till the end of 10th year plan. Even if you want to go for these ISO certifications, or the we can say concession from the government can be availed. Technology bank for small enterprises set up by SIDBI will be strengthened. For small enterprises, there is technology bank which is being set up by SIDBI, SIDBI will be strengthened. Now there are organizations like SIDO, SIDBI, and NSIC who will jointly prepare the compendium of available technologies from R&D institutions of India and abroad, and circulate among the industry associations for dissemination of latest technology related information. So these organizations have come together and they are preparing the compendium. It's like kind of, we can say, magazine or a booklet of information related to the technologies from R&D institutions in India. So if at all anybody wants to get some assistance in terms of R&D, research and development, so that can be referred, or these or small scale units can refer this compendium prepared jointly by these organizations, and they can avail the benefit. So this is about the incentives, various incentives we have seen. See, there are many more incentives. So, but then discussing all is difficult in a class. So we have seen the various subsidies, various tax concessions, marketing, finance, as well as technical and export assistance, which is being given by the central as well as state government. So we are stopping here and we'll start with these micro, small and medium enterprises and how they are functioning, how they are classified, the advantages, disadvantages, problem which these units are facing. We'll see it in next class. I hope the things are clear to you. You just have to carefully go through and you have to remember few of the things, 10%, 15%, like that. State government kitna de rahi hai, how much central government is offering. You have to remember these things. In case of any difficulties, let me know. We'll again take that particular topic or unit in the class. So see you and enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend.
Okay.
And stay at home for the next 2 days, and we'll make this lockdown successful. All
Yes.
right. Yeah. Okay. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you.